Have you ever been asked a question that sounded harmless, but something deep inside whispered that something was off? A calm voice, a soft smile, an innocent tone. Yet the moment you answered, everything shifted. You started defending, explaining, doubting yourself. And before you realized it, you were playing a game that was never meant to be fair. This is how manipulators work. They don't argue, they guide you, one gentle question at a time. And if you can't see the design behind those questions, you end up fighting your own mind instead of their intentions. The Stoics knew this centuries ago. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they all warned that deception rarely strikes openly. It hides behind politeness, behind guilt, behind reason itself. Today, we're exposing the 5 subtle questions manipulators use to control perception and silence truth. More importantly, we'll learn how a Stoic would respond, calmly, clearly, unshakably. By the end, you'll see through every disguise and no one will ever play you again. Stay with me until the end. And if this message strengthens you, subscribe, not for me, but for yourself, so you never miss the lessons that sharpen your mind and fortify your spirit. Question 1. Why can't you just relax? It sounds kind, almost caring. But this question isn't about peace, it's about control. What they're really saying is, stop noticing what's wrong. They're not asking you to calm down, they're asking you to silence your instincts. Think about the last time you pointed out a problem and heard, you're overthinking it, or you need to chill. That's not comfort, that's dismissal. Because if you stop questioning, they keep their power. The Stoics called it sophrosyne, the discipline of clarity. Marcus Aurelius said, if it is endurable, then endure it. But he never said pretend it isn't happening. A Stoic endures truth, not lies. So when someone says, why can't you just relax? Pause, breathe, and answer, I'm relaxed, I'm just not. Blind. One sentence, and the mask begins to slip. Question 2. Do you really think I'd do something like that? It sounds wounded, almost innocent. But beneath the emotion lies strategy. A person who lives in truth doesn't need to act surprised when questioned. This line is a mirror trick, designed to make you feel cruel for doubting them. And the moment you rush to reassure, you hand them the advantage. Epictetus taught, what disturbs us is not things themselves, but our judgments about them. Manipulators twist that truth. They make you judge yourself for noticing what's real. But honesty never fears inquiry. Only lies demand blind trust. So when you hear, do you really think I'd do something like that? Don't defend, don't comfort. Pause, look them in the eye and say, I don't think, I observe. That line draws a border between emotion and evidence, and manipulators can't survive inside clear boundaries. Question 3. Why are you making this such a big deal? A small question that carries a heavy purpose. You bring up something that matters, a broken promise, a quiet betrayal, and suddenly you're the one overreacting. This is how they shrink your truth until it fits their comfort. If they can convince you that caring is dramatic, you'll start apologizing for having standards. Seneca warned, he who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than necessary. But when someone uses this line on you, the suffering isn't from overthinking. It's from someone trying to erase what matters. The Stoic doesn't explode, and he doesn't withdraw, he clarifies. So when they say, why are you making this such a big deal? Respond calmly, because truth is always a big deal. You'll feel the air change. They expected guilt, you gave them gravity. Question 4, so you don't trust me anymore? It sounds hurt, but it's bait, because trust is not a gift. It's proof built by repetition. When someone demands it instead of earning it, they reveal what they truly want. Obedience, not connection. Epictetus said, first tell yourself what you would be, then do what you must do. A person who is trustworthy shows it in action, not in speeches. So when you hear, you don't trust me anymore, don't explain, don't defend. Say with quiet steadiness, I trust what's proven. What are you showing me? That single question turns the mirror back toward them, and manipulators hate mirrors, because mirrors tell the truth they've worked so hard to hide. Question 5. Can't we just forget about it? The final move, the fatigue card. When guilt fails, when denial fails, they turn to exhaustion. They'll call it forgiveness, but it's really avoidance. What they want is silence dressed as peace. Marcus Aurelius said, If it is not true, do not say it. If it is not right, do not do it. He never added, unless it's uncomfortable. A Stoic doesn't move on to escape the past, he moves forward once the truth has been faced. So when someone sighs and says, "Can't we just forget about it?" take a slow breath and answer, "I will," when it's understood. Because closure without honesty is just a pause before the next lie. The Stoic lesson, clarity over chaos. Manipulators survive on confusion. They don't need to destroy your reason, they just need to make you doubt it. They twist your awareness, mock your sensitivity, question your worth until you start fighting yourself instead of them. That's why Stoic thinking is armor. It's not coldness, it's control. Control of your reactions, your focus, your inner peace. Epictetus taught, "Some things are within our power, others are not." Once you see that difference clearly, you become untouchable. When they try to guilt you, remember, their emotions are not your responsibility. When they call you too sensitive, remember, perception is protection. When they rush you to move on, remember, time serves truth, not pressure. A Stoic doesn't argue to win, he observes to understand. He responds with calm precision, and in that stillness, all manipulation loses power. Because the greatest strength isn't fury, it's clarity. So walk calmly, speak deliberately, see everything. In a world full of noise, the one who sees clearly is the one they fear most. If this message resonates with you, tap like, subscribe to the Stoic Habit, and share it with someone who needs it. And in the comments, write just 3 words: "I choose clarity."